We're going to begin tonight with the rough road to recovery for America's economy. Inflation, which essentially means high costs and lower buying power, continued to surge last month, with prices rising at the fastest pace in more than 30 years. It comes as companies struggle with a logjam supply chain and a nationwide labor shortage. The Labor Department's Consumer Price Index jumped more than 6% in October from last year. It was the fifth straight month in which inflation surged more than 5% year over year. Americans are now paying more for shelter, food, fuel, medical care, cars and trucks, and many other goods and services. And much of this is being blamed on the pandemic. Adding to the problem, costs are continuing to rise at a faster pace than hourly earnings. We have two reports on issues that impact your wallet, beginning with CBS's Anna Werner in San Francisco. Good evening, Anna.
Good evening, Nora. Ask anybody who's come to buy a car, and they're likely going to tell you that the one they wanted was tough to find, and it's likely more expensive. It's a measure of an economy where consumers are suffering the effects of higher inflation.
Heading into the holiday season, Americans are getting squeezed. Drivers now face gas prices nearly 50% higher than last year, roughly $1.30 more per gallon. Indianapolis's Suzanne Murphy now spends $73 to fill up her van.
We're just trying to curb spending in other areas so that we can afford to fill up our tanks.
It's not just the gas. New car prices are up over 9%. Used cars, some 26%. And in the grocery store, prices for meats, poultry, fish, and eggs have risen more than 11%. Steak soared 24%. Bacon up 20%.
I definitely do see a change in the price.
All this as average hourly wages have actually fallen. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
It is a confluence of bad timing. We have enormous problems with our supply chain. And when you put rising demand and constrained supply together, you get inflation at a pace that we have not seen in 3 decades.
Shortages of materials and choke points in the supply chain could make for a pricier holiday shopping season. And keeping warm will cost more, too. Higher fuel costs are expected to mean that nearly half of U.S. households who heat with natural gas will pay 30% more this year.
Energy companies had cut back on investment in production because of the pandemic and are now struggling to keep up with demand. And there are real concerns about, is there enough global supply to meet demand?
Analysts warn these prices could continue through the holiday shopping season.
Almost every part of the Thanksgiving, holiday season, Christmas, Hanukkah, everything is going to be more expensive.
To give you another example from here on the car lot, the price of a used car, on average, has gone up over $6,000 over the past year. It's now about $29,000, Nora.
Measures what people pay for goods and services. The Labor Department reports it jumped by more than 6% from a year ago. That is the biggest increase in more than 3 decades. And it's hitting our wallets in a huge way. The price of fuel oil up nearly 60% over the past year. Beef jumped 20%. New cars and trucks up 10%. President Biden visited the Port of Baltimore today to pitch his infrastructure bill. He blamed the soaring prices on the pandemic.
COVID-19 has changed the way we spend our time and our money. More products are being delivered than ever before. It also means we got higher demand for goods at the same time we're facing disruptions in the supplies to make those goods.
The president says the infrastructure package will help ease inflation. But now the rising prices are threatening the rest of his economic agenda. Full CNBC team coverage tonight. In a moment, our Kayla Tausche on the political pressure. First, CNBC's Courtney Reagan on the impact to Americans. Courtney.
Everything that from last year to this year is either doubled or tripled in price.
Americans frustrated and feeling the pinch. Everywhere they look, prices rising. Fuel prices for your home and your car way up. Gasoline prices surging more than 6% from last month. And in the grocery store, sticker shock. Staples like bacon up more than 20% from last year. Egg prices up 12%. Pepsi is raising the price of its drinks and snacks. The price of Oreos, Sour Patch Kids, and Ritz crackers are going up 7% in January. Shoppers having to pare back.
Actually, what I've been doing is like buying a little bit less, and just trying to stretch it more.
to be honest with you.
The soaring prices, yet another ripple effect from the pandemic. The higher cost of shipping goods around the world and labor shortages are straining the global supply chain. Those pressures, coupled with a strong demand for goods, pushing prices higher.
There's just no roadmap for reopening a $20 trillion economy, let alone a global economy, all at once, but at different times, which has caused these supply chain bottlenecks that we've seen out there.
Not even toys are spared. Nerf maker Hasbro and Barbie maker Mattel are increasing prices just as consumers start checking off those holiday shopping lists.
The holidays are going to be different because the cost of everything is higher, so I'm going to have to, buy less presents.
Consumers are bearing the brunt of higher prices for now.
I think we'll see some slowdown in inflation as we get into the second half of 2022, even the spring of 2022. The bottom line is that inflation's not going to cool enough not to burn.
With consumer spending 2/3 of our country's economy, if it weakens, so too will our economic recovery. Shep?